Hi everybody and welcome to the 3D Print Zone. In this video, I'll be walking you step by step through the process to assemble our modular core kit, which is compatible with a wide variety of modular body kits that we also offer. Specifically, we'll be building the wood core dual humbucker kit that you see here. This kit is available on our website, the3dprintzone.com, and I'll leave a link to it in the description below along with other project details. If you find this video helpful, give it a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and leave a comment below if you want to see more videos like this or have any questions. So without further ado, let's get started. So to start, let's take a look at the components that come with the kit, and we'll also take a look at the parts that you'll 3D print. So this is the neck that comes with the kit. It's 22 frets, it's maple, and it comes with the tuning pegs already installed, just like you see here. This is the center wooden core, and you can see here that it comes with metal inserts to make installing the components simple. This part is also maple, and this core gives you the option to have a nice strong center because this is going to take the string tension of the guitar, and you want to make sure this is strong so that the center doesn't flex with the tension that it sees. Now we do also offer a 3D printed version of this, and with that we typically recommend a fiber reinforced filament such as glass filled or a carbon filled filament. Here's the bridge. It's a chrome fixed hardtail bridge. This is the neck plate, and it comes with the screws as well. For this particular build, we're building the dual humbucker variant of the core. So that comes with the neck and bridge pickup are both humbucking pickups, but we also offer a HS configuration, which has a humbucker and a single coil, as well as a single coil only option, which is 2 single coil pickups for the core. Another thing worth noting with these is that they already come pre-soldered with the electrical tabs that you'll need to make the connection to the body. The kit also includes a set of Ernie Ball regular slinky strings, so you don't have to worry about getting your own strings, but of course you can always swap on different ones if you prefer a different brand or different gauges. This here is the ground wire, which will be used to ground the bridge. And you can see here, this is the hardware that's also included with the kit. So this is the screw for the latch. There are 8 screws for the rails that go on either side of the core. And then these are the screws that'll thread into the metal inserts on the wooden core. Now, if you order the version of the core that is 3D printed, these screws, instead of being machine screws, will be self-tapping that can screw directly into the plastic. Lastly, we'll take a look at the 3D printed parts. So these are the left and right rails, which will screw onto either side of the wooden core. These rails are used to slide the body on and off of the core to make the electrical connections and give yourself a fully built guitar. This is the pickup plate. So the 2 humbucker pickups will go into these pockets here, and then that assembly will screw directly onto the wood. This is the rear back plate. So the electrical contacts will go right here. And you can see here that this is a hole where the latch will mount. And lastly, this is the latch component, which will mount right here and be used to latch on the body. So now that we've taken a look at all the components, let's start with the assembly process. All right, so as we start here, it's worth noting that the only tool that you'll need is a regular screwdriver. Now I do recommend something like this. It'll make your life a little easier. It also has different tips for small and larger screws. but this will definitely help save you a bit of time. So the first step, we are going to mount the rails. So you can see there's a longer rail here, which is going to go on the long side. And we want the actual rail part to be towards the center. So it's going to mount just like that. And then on the other side, we'll mount the shorter rail. We're going to be using these small screws, which can screw directly into the wood. Now you want to make sure that you don't over tighten them because you can strip the wood. But overall, it's fairly simple to do. So let's go ahead and do this now. So you just want to line it up like that. You don't necessarily need to mark the holes and pre-drill them, although you can if you want to. But typically I'll just set the rail in position. I'll start somewhere with the center screw and we will fasten it to the wood. There we go. Now we'll just go ahead and do the other 3 screws. And the last screw here. And there we go. Very simple. Now we'll spin it around and we will do the other side. And there we go. So the first step is complete. We have our left and right rail screwed onto the wooden core. Now we're going to go ahead and install the bridge as well as the bridge ground wire. So again, here's the bridge. There's a little piece of paper here just protecting it from getting scratched. And we're going to be using 4 of the machine screws, as well as the ground. This is important. You want to make sure that the bridge is ground so that you don't get any noise in the signal on your guitar. So to start, we're going to want to pinch the bare end of the wire right here, and we want that to make contact with the underside of the bridge. So to do this, you can flip the core over and you can see this hole right here on the bottom. So we can go ahead and feed the wire through that hole until it's kind of, you want it just sticking out just a little bit here. Try to get just the metal part. And then I typically like to bend it forward and down. So you can see now it's pointing downwards, kind of towards the bottom of the core. So with it kind of in position there, you can take your bridge and set it in place. Let's go ahead and get rid of this paper here. So we can go and set the bridge down, and we want to make sure that it's pinching the bare end of that ground wire. Now all we have to do is take the 4 screws and screw them directly into the metal inserts. And there we go. So now the bridge is mounted, and the thing you're going to want to check is you just want to go on the back side where this cable is and give it a light tug just to make sure that it is being pinched and held in place by the bridge. Now we can move on to installing the pickups with the pickup mount plate. So if we take a look at the pickups, there is one important thing to note. So if we look on the back, you can see that this one says bridge, and this, upside down, and this one says neck. So we want to make sure that we put the pickups in the correct position. So the neck pickup is going to go here, next closer to the neck, and then the bridge pickup, of course, will go here, closer to the bridge. Another way that you could tell the pickups apart, other than looking at the back, is that the neck pickup has this red sleeve right here. So that's another way to just separate between the two different pickups. Each pickup comes with 2 screws and 2 springs, and we'll use that to give it a floating ability on the plate so that we can adjust the pickups up and down. All right, so now let's go ahead and mount the pickup. So to start, I like to take the screws, press them into the plate. Now we can flip it over and slide the springs onto the screw post. One thing to note here is that this notch in the 3D print should face towards the neck. So this would be the neck pickup, and this is the bridge pickup. Now we can take the pickup and mount it onto the screws. So we'll get them both started. And now we can get a closer look here. So we could take a look. As we tighten these screws, it'll compress the springs and pull the pickup higher. So the exact height of this doesn't really matter at this point. We can adjust these later on, so don't worry too much about that. But I like to just try to make it so that the pickup is sitting somewhat flat. All right, so that's good enough. And now we will go ahead and do the same exact steps, but for the other pickup. Installing the springs. And let's get the pickup in position. And then we can tighten the screws. All right, and there we go. So now we have the 2 pickups mounted to the plate. So the next step, we're going to go ahead and mount this subassembly to the core assembly. So we're going to take the ends of the wires and we want to feed them through this hole right here in the wood and then kind of bring them towards the front of the core. So we're just feeding them in. And on the other side, we can kind of just pull them through. We can kind of move everything so it's feeding towards the front, just so it's out of the way. Now, one thing that you can do here is now take the cable for the neck and route it through this center channel in the wood. And that way we can put the pickup assembly onto the core and not worried about any of the cables getting pinched. Just like that. Now we're just going to go ahead and take 8 of the machine screws and fasten them in place. There we go. Now we have our pickup subassembly mounted to the core. So the next step we're going to do is mount the back plate, which first requires us to make the electrical contact connections. So let's flip the core over and we'll set aside the back plate right here, which is going to mount to it with 4 screws. So the nice thing about this entire kit assembly is that you don't have to do any soldering. So everything is pre-soldered, and we have these contacts which are just going to clip onto this plastic plate that we 3D printed in these slots right here. So you want to make sure, this is very important, that you're following the wiring diagram. So I'll put that up on the screen here, and it's also available on the digital guide that's on our website. So looking at the positions, this one here is going to be the ground for the bridge. The next one is going to be the ground for the bridge pickup, followed by the signal for the bridge pickup. Then we're going to have the ground for the neck pickup, and then the signal for the neck pickup. So starting off again, we're going to have the ground for the bridge, which is the one coming through the hole here. And we're just going to go ahead and take this and clip it on to the plastic like shown. So you can see here, it kind of just slides on. You want to push it all the way down, and that's it. Now we want to take a look at the bridge pickup, which is, again, this is the neck with the red. So this is our bridge. And we are going to then do the green and bare wire, which is our ground for the bridge. And then the black wire for the bridge, which is the signal for the bridge. Now we just have these last two, which is our neck. And we're going to start with this one, which is the green and bare wire, which is again our ground. And lastly, the neck signal, which is the black wire. And there we go. So those are the 5 connections that we have for the pickups and the ground. So now we can take this plate, and we just want to be careful, once again, not to pinch any wires. If need be, you can take some of these and tuck them back in the pocket here a little bit. But we just want to make sure that everything's within this cavity here and that nothing's getting pinched. And then we can set the plate down just like so. And now we're going to go ahead and take 4 of the machine screws and fix this to the core. And there we go. So we have all of our electrical contacts here. This is how it looks like when flipped over. And we want to now add the latch, which is going to mount right here. So this is the latch, and this is the screw for the latch. And you can see it's got a little bit of a countersink here, which mates up with the hole here. So it doesn't really matter how you orient this, just want to line it up and screw it to the back plate. But essentially this is going to rotate, and when we slide a body on, this part will interface with the body and give us a nice click to latch on the body, therefore securing the body and the core together so we have our complete guitar assembly. But for now, we're just going to rotate this out of the way. So now we're ready to actually mount the neck onto the core. So of course the neck is going to sit right here, and we're going to use a neck plate shown here. This is the neck plate that's going to be used to secure it on the back side. So to start, you can go ahead and take the neck and hold it in the neck pocket, and then you could kind of pinch them together and flip the assembly over so that now we can add the neck plate. So the neck plate, we could just line it up with the holes. And now we're going to take the 4 longer neck screws and mount the neck to the core. I typically like to get these somewhat tight, but not fully tight. Get all 4 in and then go back and make sure they're nice and tight. And there we go. Now we have the neck mounted to the core. We take a look at the other side here. And believe it or not, we're already ready to now string up the core, and then it'll be complete. While I'm here, and before I forget, peel these off. And now we only have one step left, which is to string it up. And this process is going to be just like stringing up any other guitar. So I'm not going to go into too much detail on how to string a guitar. There's a lot of tutorials online that show you how to do that, but I will quickly show you the steps, and then we'll take a look at the final chord. I like to use this little tuner spin tool, which allows you to quickly string up the guitar. And you can use wire cutters or snips to snip the rest of the extra wire. So now off camera, I'm just going to go ahead and do the other 5 strings. All right, so now that we're all strung up, it's important to know that just like a traditional guitar, you still want to make sure that you set your action, which is how high the strings are, and you can adjust those by adjusting these little set screws to move the saddle up and down. And you can also adjust the intonation by adjusting the screws that are on the back of the bridge right here. So that'll either compress or decompress the springs that are right here, and that'll move the saddle forward and backwards, and that'll allow you to make sure that your core is properly intonated. So now the only thing that we have to do is tune it up, and to do that, we could slide it onto any body and plug it in, and that way we can actually tune all the strings. All right, so there we have it. We officially have our completed core assembly. And as you can see, the process is pretty simple and straightforward. It doesn't require any specialty tools, and the entire thing can go together in under an hour. Now, if you still have any questions or comments, then leave those in the comment section below. And you can also contact us directly on the website using the contact page. You can also check out our other YouTube videos and social media on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok to see some of our other build videos. And there's also plenty of demo videos showing you how it sounds. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you're not already subscribed, consider subscribing. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.